force that organization to play him because he's so impressive. And it will start this week, and then it will start for them to say, let's give him reps versus our #1 defense in training camp and see how he does.
That one I'm telling, just like he just said, that one I'm telling you, it ain't gonna be closed in the next 3 days. They only had the media out there two OTA practices. They only had the media out there on 2 OTA practices. So now this mini camp, it's gonna be 3 days straight of the media out there looking at 12. And I'm telling you, if he do not get no first team reps against the first team defense and 11 on 11 and the 7 on 7 and all of it, it is not fair.
That handle on how things are going right now from your perspective?
Well, I wrote about this in a column that hit this morning, and that is, if you're looking out there and you're seeing Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel look at times like it's not perfect and they're not completing as many passes, or it looks like they're almost throwing an interception. Those two guys are having so much heaped on their plate right now. They're the ones that are sort of being tasked with trying to figure out what's going to work in this new offense and what's not going to work in this new offense. So they're getting the brunt of the install right now, and that's in part because they need to get them up to speed as quickly as possible, but also because those two guys were kind of targeted early on as the two players that the Browns probably have out front right now in terms of winning this competition. And the reason why I say that is because they were acquired earlier in their respective acquisition cycles than the other two, right? I mean, we know that Kenny Pickett was traded for a month before Joe Flacco was signed, and that Dillon came in the 3rd round, Shedeur in the 5th. So we know that those guys come in with a bit of an edge. It doesn't mean that the other two can't flip the script, but more is going on to the plate of Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel right now than, let's say, than Shedeur. And with Joe, he already knows so much of it, so they don't really have to do that with him as much. They have to get those other two guys ready.
Yeah, it's, Nathan and I have been pretty
Hey, look here. I don't believe that she say, because it probably quite the opposite the way I'm looking at it. If they getting the brunt of the install, maybe because they don't understand it. That's how I'm looking at it. Because maybe we clearly seen and heard the offensive coordinator say that Shedeur is grasping the playbook in the install, whatever you want to call it, install playbook, it's the same thing. He grasping the playbook real well and calling the plays just like that. So for her to say that, talking about they getting the brunt of the install, that means, to me, they're saying they not understanding it. Get what I'm saying? Because if you don't know how an install works, an install is when you learn the play. You in the classroom, you in the meeting room, and you learning the play. You draw it up on the board, coach draw it up on the board, he asks you about it. What's the read here? What's the play call here? What we doing here? That's what install is. And then you go to the field and you run the play. That's why it's called practice. And you install a certain number of plays while you learning it. But, hey, you can interpret however you want to. I'm interpreting it that they not understanding it. And the order that they came to the team, that does not matter. Like, that makes no sense to say they have an edge just because one player got traded for and the other one got drafted in the 3rd round. They don't have an edge. If anything happened, if anybody had an edge, it's Joe Flacco. He won a Super Bowl. He was the quarterback on the team that won a Super Bowl, and he's better than Kenny Pickett, even at the age of 40. So I don't see how in the world, just because they traded for Kenny Pickett and they drafted Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, how is they ahead of Flacco and Shedeur? Makes no sense. But like I said, what I'm thinking it is, they probably paid Mary Kay and say, hey, look, we trying to trade these boys. Hey, put them out there as much as possible that they doing good. So somebody that need a quarterback, maybe during the season, but hopefully before training camp or during training camp, they'll trade one of them two, and then boom, then you got Flacco, Shedeur, and then whoever else, the one that didn't get traded. But hey, I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just guessing. But it showed like I don't think it showed like what she's saying.
Be pretty transparent with the conversation, because I think one thing that's happening, and I'm sure you're seeing this in your readers or in your social interactions, like everybody wants to talk about Shedeur all of the time, and everything that you just said is exactly on point and exactly what's going on out here. And I feel like from the national perspective, especially, it's getting missed.
Then y'all got to remember. They ain't trade too much for Kenny Pickett. It ain't like they traded a second rounder or a first rounder to get Kenny Pickett. Then they declined his fifth option. That's not telling me they believe in him a lot. That's what I'm saying. But hey, take it with Mary Kay.
And I think it's at times misleading the fan base about what's actually going on here. So I think it's really important that you wrote what you wrote, because that's an accurate description of what we've seen in OTAs, not just what's been open to the media, but what we've seen too.
Yes, exactly. And I just heard another set of Shedeur opinions even this morning, and it's just almost kind of funny to me that people from the outside, or the national experts, shall we say, seem to feel like they know exactly how this is going, and they're not here. We are boots on the ground, and so I think people need to be a little bit careful with who they're putting their faith in right now in terms of how this thing is playing out. Yeah, Shedeur looks really, really good with what they're asking him to do. He looks really, really good. But as you probably saw the other day, he was at times on a separate field because he's learning different things. He's coming along at a different pace than some of the other guys. Like I said, with Kenny and Dylan, they're throwing as much at them as humanly possible right now to see what sticks, to see what works. And they're not necessarily doing that with Shedeur right now. With Shedeur,
They're telling me they not understanding the stuff they throwing at them. If they keep throwing stuff at them to see what stick, that means the other stuff ain't sticking. Am I wrong? Y'all let me know. If they keep throwing stuff at these guys and they trying to see what sticks, that means the other stuff ain't sticking. That's why you got to keep, okay, he can't understand that. Let's try this. Oh, okay, he can't get that. Let's try this. Okay, well, that didn't work. Let's try this. Maybe you think that Shedeur ahead, that's why he on the field by himself, so he can run those plays? Because they can't run them plays, even though they going against the ones? Like, come on, man. I'm like, come on. Am I right or wrong? Y'all tell me real quick. Am I right or wrong? She's saying it ain't see what stick. That means they not understanding what's going on. If you got to see what stick, that means they don't understand what was being thrown at them before.
He's on a bit of a different track. He's right now the fourth-team quarterback. He's doing great with what he's being asked to do. Everybody's very, very happy with how he's coming along. Everybody's optimistic about what they're seeing with him. But it's just he's in a little bit of a different category as the fourth-team quarterback, and maybe not necessarily someone that they are trying to get ready as fast as possible to start on opening day. Not saying that he can't. Not saying that he can't.
Mary Kay, are you in the meetings? Are you sitting in the quarterback meeting room? That's what I want to know.
Can't, because he's being given a chance just like everyone else.
Well, I'm telling you, she just skipped Bayless. She just skipped Bayless of the Browns.
But he's in a bit of a different category right now.
So
it ain't even somebody getting fired. They ain't gonna be able to trade Gabriel or Kenny Pickett. They ain't gonna be able to trade one of them. For Cleveland, they getting all this attention, and it's supposedly a competition. The bad thing is we actually really don't know what's going on, and we actually ain't gonna know until the season start. Preseason games, where the training camp practice when they practice getting them other teams, and then the actual preseason game leading up to the season. But hey, the next 3 days really gonna tell a lot for as if it's gonna be fair. Because if it ain't fair, I don't even know what you got that boy on the team for. Like, if you ain't gonna give him an equal opportunity to compete for the spot, I know.
My savages! Money man in the thing of a T and playing no games. Should I already know my name when I speak in CC Flame. Got my YouTube poppin', man. Like, subscribing, everything in between. You already know. Money man! You already know.